Barbie. We all know and love her. From the material collection of those that sent us in a franchise over the years and to the best box office movie of 2023, Barbara Roberts has filled our hearts with love. But what if I told you she is not also in movies and as a doll, but also in the games? Hi guys, my name is Dyna and welcome back on my channel if you're new. Today's video is a bit special because it's my first attempt at an iceberg video, which if you don't know the definition of an iceberg video, even if they have been floating around since 2020, an iceberg video consists from stuff put from layers to layers that go down underneath the iceberg, depending on how obscure or creepy the media is, or as someone put it, it's just the tip of the iceberg. In today's video, I comply myself an iceberg as best as I could with all the Barbie official games as I could. Before we start, just wanted to say that this iceberg won't contain the Barbie Flash games because there are thousands of games which are either official Mattel, but the most are unofficial and were scattered on the large internet, and I cannot possibly do such an iceberg with so many entries. I think there are at least 1,000 games, at least 1,000 Barbie Flash games. So please understand why I haven't put like Barbie rides a bike or Barbie rescues wildlife animals in this iceberg, because they are Flash games. And also, again, before we start, just wanted to clarify as to why some titles are colored differently. And that's because some titles are found on a system and not on the other one. Green is for Windows, light blue is for Game Boy Advance consoles, indigo is for PlayStation and Xbox, red is for Nintendo consoles, yellow is for Commodore 64, and silver is for Android and iOS. Anyway, without further ado, this is the official Barbie Disc Games iceberg. Layer 1. The Sky. Barbie Horse Adventures Mystery Ride. Barbie Horse Adventures Mystery Ride is a game that comes from a series of 4 games called simply Horse Adventures and is the one of the 5 horse games Mattel released with Barbie. Mystery Ride follows the path of Barbie, who goes on a search for her friend Trissa Holland's horse, Lucky, as she has been stolen and Trissa needs her for her big competition. As you progress, you get on your trail blind bags that contain flowers, paint and garlands, which can help you decorate the gazebo at the end of the game where the winners are announced. But be prepared, because if you want to restore the gazebo and you want to start all over again, the flowers will disappear and you won't get them back. You will remain only with the paint. I had to learn the hard way, honestly. In this game, you can customize both Barbie and the horse, and you can name her, the horse, I mean. There are plenty gameplays out in the wild with this, but my favorite has to be Lucas Jean one, which is very old. It's 13 years old, but it's the funniest gameplay I ever watched with it, and I watch it actually regularly just for the laughs. Barbie Riding Club. Barbie Riding Club was one of Mattel's first game ever released to get a market success. It's the first or second in the series of horse adventures, and it follows Barbie in her adventures with her horse, which you can totally take care of. If you want to play this game right now, you have to play it on an emulator, unfortunately, because it doesn't work anymore, the game being made in 98. Trust me, I tried, that's why I know. Nonetheless, it's a classic, and it also brings you a desktop horse, which you can take care of, and it can just chill on your desktop. It can be your desktop companion. It's like the annoying desktop gurus or shimeji for those that know. Barbie Horse Adventures Riding Camp. Barbie Horse Adventures Riding Camp, also known as Summer Camp apparently, is the last horse adventure and horse game Mattel ever released for Barbie. It's also the last in the Horse Adventure series and follows Barbie and her friend Trissa, who go to an equestrian camp for the summer, but the storm that was one day prior or their arrival kind of affected the area, which is Barbie's job to do it, basically to help people around there. Even though, it's an amazing game for being the last game, it also brings back the dress-up mechanic, but now it's not free anymore, it's with money. Even in Barbie, I'm not allowed to get free stuff. Ugh. Which, they are actually pretty easy to win. You win them from doing challenges and as you get ribbons. You can upgrade your horse as well. You don't have to have only one horse throughout the whole game, and every horse you earn, depending what ribbon you just won, is good at something. What's amazing in this game is that it's open world and you can move freely as you can and gather as many things as you want. And there is also a quest mechanic implemented where if you do some quests you want to earn money. There is also another mechanic that if you don't come to the camp until the sun sets and it's night and you are just out in the wild on your track, the son of the owner of the camp will call you and say he will pick you up because it's late, and then a loading screen appears and is morning again. Am I a 5-year-old there? Really? You can also do that if you are stuck and don't know where to go, but please be prepared because it will also get you through a loading screen and you basically wake up the next morning in the camp. The game also has a bigger plot revolving family secrets of the owner of the camp. Besides the interesting story and features, it performed so badly because of its lacky mechanics, specifically on the ports for the consoles, because it ported on consoles as well. And maybe this is why it was the last horse adventure game and horse-related game they ever released. Layer 2, Tip of the Iceberg. Barbie as the Island Princess. In the early to mid-2000s, Mattel released games that accompanied their movies, probably for easy marketing. Island Princess was no different, releasing in 2007 to accompany the movie with the same name and following the same path as the movie. In the game you have to play minigames relating to the story and gather roses to get to the next level, kinda like an arcade game. And after you finish an area, a small cutscene from the movie will take place and then it will take you to the next area. There was also a dress-up mechanic and you could win dresses and accessories based on how many points you scored, but unfortunately it was more than a dress-up game, a dress-up room, let's say, than an incorporation, as Rosa wouldn't wear the dresses you would choose because there wasn't a save mechanic for that. And if you wanted to come back to the dressing room to try new dresses or whatever, you had to exit and then re-enter, and yeah, it was a bit annoying. Barbie as Rapunzel, a creative adventure. Same as with the Island Princess, a creative adventure followed the protagonist from the Barbie as Rapunzel, but it does not follow the plot of the movie, rather what happens after. Barbie throws a masquerade bar and Mother Gothel throws a spell on the castle because she wasn't invited, you know, and now Barbie has to restore the castle and find the gems that can restore her prince back from the stone. The gems can be found along the decorations in the castle. Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus. This one is of the other horse games Mattel released, even if it follows the movie plot, and the Pegasus weren't really horses, but magical ones. It got released in 2005, exactly when the movie did as well, and it follows Annika, who has to create the Wand of Light to defeat Wenlock, who wants to destroy her loved ones if she doesn't accept to marry him. What I love about this game, honestly, is its enchantment. It's very pretty and magical, and I love the mechanics. There is no thing as dress-up game in this game, unfortunately, though I would loved it, but you can decorate the castle in the sky, similar with the decorating of the gazebo in the Mystery Ride. In fact, it's actually pretty similar to Mystery Ride, but only without the dress-up mechanic and the horses, and if horses were Pegasus in the sky, so yeah. Barbie Horse Adventures Wild Horse Rescue. Wild Horse Rescue was one of the few titles that only got the console port. It's the second game in the universe of horse adventures, and it follows Barbie and her friends that go to an equestrian sanctuary, but the night they stay in, a storm gets a hold of the area and the gate of defense where all the horses and the foals were held broke, and the horses, scared of the thunder, they fled in the different parts of the world. It's a bit suspicious to me as to why you would hold your horses in a small fenced area when you know a freaking storm would come and they would hate it, and it's like they didn't have a place where to put them, but I guess the stealing the horse was already done. This was released in 2003 alongside Mystery Ride, maybe that's why they didn't use the stealing idea, because that was for the Mystery Ride PC game. There was also a dress-up mechanic which was pretty similar with the riding camp one. You could unlock clothes based on how far in the game you were, and you could search for the horses in 3 areas. The forest, where it was always mellow, nice, you had a scenic view, the mountain, where it was always winter, and the beach, where it was always hot. I don't know how that makes sense, like full winter and then full summer, but it's Barbie, so I won't put any more questions. Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus. I know, we covered Magic of Pegasus already, but this one is a version for the Game Boy Advance only. This one was actually different than the movie and the PC game altogether, and it follows Annika, who gets to her surprise birthday party, but then Wenlock appears, stones everyone, and Annika gets the Wand of Light on the spot. You don't have to create it anymore, and you have to unstone 10 people per area. There is also a cute dress-up mechanic. You can win the cute dresses based on like the bonus special rooms you are and the dresses are. The same dresses she wear in the movie, and there are also recolored ones. If I remember correctly, the colors were purple normal dress, pink and green ice skating dress, and a purple and pink end of the movie dress. I don't know, to me it seems cute to earn the dresses like that. Layer 3. Shallow Waters. Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses. Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses is a game that follows the same plot as the movie, with the same name. In the game, you are trapped in the magical world trying to find a vial of elixir, the cure for your dad's sickness. While you do that, you go through 4 worlds, or 4 lands to be exactly. Water Terrace, Hanging Gardens, Royal Courtyard, and a Crystal Land. As you go through each world, you also go through sub-areas, each one hiding one of the sister, which hides a minigame, and at the end of each minigame you have to associate each girl precious jewel to her, so their slippers can be enchanted again because they got disenchanted, and after you've done that you can choreograph a dance routine. There is no dress-up mechanic unfortunately in this world, but it does have enchanting worlds and views, especially in the prologue of the game when you try to form Derek's enchanting flute and you try to find the missing pieces. Like you go through an enchanted forest and it's such a beautiful world. I'm actually pretty mad we didn't really stay that much either in that part of the world because I loved it more than pretty much quarter of the worlds they gave us in like the later game. Besides the crystal world, that world was amazing. Unfortunately, it performed poorly because of its lucky controls and graphics both on PC and console. Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses. The same situation like at Magic of Pegasus. This is the version of the Game Boy Advance of the 12 Dancing Princesses. I don't really have much information regarding this game because it wasn't that popular in the first place, but the plot was somehow again similar with the Magic of Pegasus, where you had to clear out areas by switching through the sisters to make different moves. Barbie of the Swan Lake, the Enchanted Forest. Barbie of the Swan Lake follows somehow a story that happened after the end of the movie, but since it's got its own plot. The Enchanted Forest follows the naughty unicorn Lila, who somehow did it again and disenchanted the forest, and now we have to find different ingredients to make potions to enchant some ones, which after we can enchant the forest with after. It's kinda similar with a creative adventure, but this one is shorter and if you ask me, a bit more boring. Nonetheless, your goal is to enchant the whole forest so that you can take part in the midnight picnic and see the surprise Lila was preparing before she did it again. Barbie has the 3 Musketeers. This one is also on PC, but I decided to color it for Nintendo. Why, you ask? Because the art style is very similar with the Game Boy Advance games. This game follows the story from the movie with the same name, where you play as Corinne, her cat and her friends, clearing out arenas and enemies. The plot of this game follows somehow the plot of the movie, and I don't know why they made it only like that. Would have loved to have a normal style game of the 3 Musketeers, but whatever. Barbie Explorer. Do you like games that contain a bit of adventure, like Uncharted or even Tomb Raider? Well, Barbie Explorer just gives you that. Released in 2001, it follows Barbie, who is at the museum and sees a broken mirror which misses 5 shards from it. The tour guide tells her that if all those shards are found, the mirror will open its own secrets to the person that found them. For you to get these shards, you have to go to Africa, Tibet, Egypt, and the final unlockable one, Babylon. This game is a bit frustrating relating the controls, but it's an old game after all. People categorize it as the Tomb Raider for little girls, and it was after all a copy of the Tomb Raider if you think of it. Also, as a bonus, apparently right now there is another Explorer on the App Store. It's called Barbie World Explorer, and I don't know what its plot is, I don't know how it works, but I found out really while I was searching information about the entry, and yeah, probably it's a game which appeared pretty recently, just wanted to point out. It's not Barbie Explorer, but apparently it's like a sequel, I don't know, man. Secret Agent Barbie. Ah yes, this game. This game is an amazing game, but with some wonky graphics, not going to lie to you. Secret Agent Barbie follows Barbie going to New York to her friend's fashion show, but she's called by that said friend saying her fabrics have been stolen, and it's your job as a secret agent who has your headquarters in a plane which flies in the sky to see where they were headed. What I love personally about this game is that you go through different places of the world: New York, Paris, Tokyo, Egypt, Rio de Janeiro, and Tibet to search for those fabrics. And while you go in these regions, you can choose from which clothes you can wear, which are basically the same ones but recolored, you know? But honestly, I don't care! It's a super interesting mechanic. For a while, this game was very hard to come by because it was so underrated and unpopular. Only some sellers on eBay, more specifically only 4 people, had this game for an immensely amount of money. But as of recently, you can find it on Old Games Download and the My Abandonware websites, where you can download them for free actually. Barbie as Princess and the Pauper. Ah yes, everyone's favorite Barbie movie also has a game, and a wholesome one as well. This one is a direct sequel to the movie plot actually, following Erica as she follows to be coronated, and she has a lot to do, from decorating the palace to going on the town and make a dress and a cake. But along the way she gets into trouble, and Annalise is there to help her get her out of trouble. It's actually a pretty fun game, even if it's 2D and a point and a clicker. Honestly, I had a lot of fun with it, and it's actually pretty lengthy as a game. The world is also a medium-sized one. Seeing how the game is, I was really fascinated at how pretty it was. Detective Barbie in the Mystery of the Carnival Caper. If you loved Nancy Drew as a child, you will love Carnival Caper as well. Detective Barbie is also another series of games, 3 to be more exact, which took inspiration probably from Nancy Drew. Nonetheless, the first game, Carnival Caper, follows Barbie and her friend Becky going to their local carnival after they graduated from the police academy to throw a charity party. Though when they went to the carnival, they had the unfortunate surprise to see that Ken, the person that had the amount of money necessary for the charity, disappeared. And it's yours and Becky's job to see where is Ken. It's more like a point and clicker where you find clues and analyze them in your special detective computer, where Becky helps you with those clues. More interestingly, you can interview everyone from that carnival, from the local clown to the local gardener and the local performers, to see where Ken is. The interesting thing, everyone you will play in the game will be a suspect. Because every time you play the game, the suspect will be a different one. The game basically generates a new suspect every new gameplay. And this game is the game that has the most long list of names ever in a game, I swear to God. If you're interested, there are plenty of videos on YouTube on that theme. It's actually kinda hilarious and painful at the same time. Layer 4, Underneath the Iceberg. Okay, now we go underneath the iceberg, where there are entries you may have not heard about. Barbie High School Mystery. This one is also a game that was made to accompany the movie Barbie High School Diaries, or just Barbie Diaries, which follows Barbie as a normal high schooler having high school problems and teen problems. In a movie, the plot revolves around Barbie losing her charm bracelets, which gave her luck, and she's afraid she'll perform bad in the Battle of the Bands. While in the game, however, you have to solve a mystery, and to do that you have to interview actual students and teachers, and you actually have to gain their trust, which to some people may seem a bit harder than your regular Barbie games. It's not that hard, honestly, and this one is not really known because Barbie Diaries wasn't popular as a movie to begin with, and also because of the change of the animation choices. Detective Barbie 2: The Vacation Mystery. Another game in the Detective Barbie world, because Barbie got tired of solving mysteries, as she should, and she decided to go on a vacation with Ken and Becky. Girl, why are you taking boats? To a little hotel which had like a history, you know? Those types of hotels that are basically in like a very old and historic buildings and they have history, whatever. While they are there, some strange things started happening and some jewels were stolen, and it's Barbie's job to see what is happening. Though you have to be warned, because if you wanna play it, I heard it's bugged on Windows 10 for some reason, like in the gazebo area, and you have to start all over again, so please be aware of that when you want to start playing this game. Adventures with Barbie: The Ocean Discovery. The Ocean Discovery is a game which requires you, Barbie, to go to an underwater adventures as you uncover sunken cities and corals, as well as 9 minigames to go hand in hand with it. For example, in one minigame you have to go find a clam shell, in another one you have to help the dolphin Sandy through a maze, and apparently she has a different role in the PC game, as there is also a console port for this game and it's a bit more different. Barbie Gloom and Glam Packs. Ah yes, this game brings me some serious nostalgia, as I used to find gameplays on my crappy Alcatel 11 years ago while I was staying on YouTube. Gloom and Glam Paps follows Barbie, who runs a grooming store where she takes care of pups and dresses them for fashion shows. It's a Nintendo DS game and also a Wii, but unfortunately it can't be bought anymore as of 2023 because the eShop got shut down, as probably you know, and now if you don't have the physical copy of it, you are kinda lost on it forever. But you don't lose anything because apparently it was a bad reception game anyway, as many claim that it was bugged or the price was too big for what the game gave, or the controls were simply bad. I remember I wanted to have this game and one day I totally forgot about it. Barbie Pet Rescue. Following the pet game's Pet Rescue, it's a game in which you search for different animals such as kittens and puppies and you rescue them. After you rescue them, you bring them to your shelter/foster where you take care of them after. There you'll see how each and every animal reacts to being fed and pet and played with. This game is pretty similar with another game where you rescue only puppies from 2015, and according to the description of this game, the game helps young girls understand what nurturing a pet means and feels like. Detective Barbie Mystery Cruise. The last from the Detective Barbie, Mystery Cruise follows the plot of Barbie, who goes on a cruise with Ken and Becky, of course, for an art exposition, but while they are there, 3 important pieces are stolen and it's Barbie's job to find the culprit, which can be found on the cruise specifically. Just like in the first 2 games, you have to talk to people, find clues and analyze them in order to find who actually stole the things. The game is a console port only. Barbie and her sister's Puppy Rescue. This is the other game I was talking about, and it was released in 2015, and it was the last this game to be released on the PC, and because of that, a lot of people do not really know about it for some reason. One thing is to not know about the 20-ish-year-old game, but the 9-year-old one? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the plot of this game is to have you to ride the bike through the whole town to rescue puppies and bring them to the shelter/foster as they escape, and it's your job to find them. If you ask me, this game incorporates the Flash game of riding Barbie into this, but with puppies. And also, as a fun fact, while I was searching about this game, I found out it's on freaking Steam, so if you don't have the disc, no problemo, it's on Steam and you can download digitally now. Layer 5, Deep Waters. Barbie Princess Bride. Princess Bride is one of the 3 games Mattel did which are animated, colored, and more differently than the 3D normal ones. In this game you follow Barbie as she prepares for her wedding and you have to help her do normal wedding preparations. Apparently it's based on a doll line with the same name. Magic Fairy Tales, Barbie as Rapunzel. As I said, Mattel did 3 games which were illustrated and not 3D, and they did a second Rapunzel one. In this one, you rather follow the classical storybook tale of Rapunzel than the Barbie's version of it. Barbie as Sleeping Beauty. The third installment in this series, it follows the story of Rose as the Sleeping Beauty. Basically, it's the story of the Sleeping Beauty told from the eyes of Mattel. That's all. Barbie Fashion Show. This is a game in which you build different types of outfits for Barbie and her 4 model friends for the Paris Fashion Week. That's it. That's the plot. Secret Agent Barbie Royal Jewel Mission. Another Agent Barbie game, but this time a Game Boy Advance one. In this one you play as Barbie, who has to get the Royal Jewel. Nothing really important or special with this game. It's a more underrated game than the Secret Barbie for PC, and it's a Game Boy Advance game. That's all. Barbie Jet Style. In this Nintendo DS game, you basically have to give a makeover to different models. If you ask me, this is various games already existent on the PC and you only put them in one game but for the Nintendo. It's nothing really interesting with it, honestly. Barbie Mermaid Adventure. In this game, Barbie is a mermaid and she wants to throw an underwater party for her marine friends. Unfortunately, a magic shell in the palace broke and she needs the help of 3 rainbow dolphins in order to get her party ready. Barbie Beach Vacation. In this one, Barbie finally gets a vacation! Let's applaud my girl! No, but for real, in this game you help Barbie organize a little party on the beach with her friends as she gets to have fun along the way. She skydives, she snorkels, makes sandcastles, and even dances. As you do every activity before you start, you can choose Barbie fit for the game. After all, you're playing a Barbie game, let's be honest. And after you finish playing the activities, at the end you can decorate the party however you want. Barbie Fashion Show, an eye for style. Another Barbie fashion game. I don't really have much information to give regarding this game because there isn't much information regarding to it to start off with. From what I gather though, it's very similar to Fashion Show, and this one it's on the Nintendo DS as well, which isn't much different on there either. Barbie Beauty Boutique. In this game, you basically help Barbie and her friends get makeovers, different hairstyles, and different outfits. Again, another fashion game, nothing really special besides the makeover and dress up. Layer 6, Dark Waters. We are getting more and more down the iceberg where the games aren't really that much known. Barbie Magic Genie Bottle. This is a game in which Barbie is a genie and she requests you, the player, to help her get out of her magic lamp and save her kingdom. In this game you go over 5 exotic lands where you have to search for her magic gems. Apparently she got closed by an evil sultan in her lamp, and it's your job to help her save the kingdom. A cool and interesting thing is that if you bought the physical copy of the game, you also had a physical lamp as well, which, if I remember correctly, you could connect it to the PC, and if you pressed it, you could summon Barbie and she made the search easier or something. But just like the Barbie.com MP3 player, which also gave you like VIP access or something, it was bugged. And you can't really find it anymore, only on eBay, I think, for again tremendous amounts of dollars or euros. Barbie Magic Genie Bottle. Of course, there has to be a Game Boy Advance version as well, am I right? Well, this game is for Game Boy Color, and this one gives you the same plot as the PC game, but in this game, instead of finding 5 magic gems, you have to find 5 magic lamps. That's it, not really much difference. Moving on. Barbie Story Maker. Now, we go back in the time in the 90s and see the first Barbie games ever released for the PC. In Story Maker, you could make your own little videos and scenarios, but with Barbie props. From there on, you could make however and whatever movie you wanted. Honestly, the idea of making your own scenarios but with the props they give you has existed for a long time. For example, take Movie Planet or Feral Hearts, or even the now defunct site of Disney where you could choose from different versions of animals. The most popular was one with the wolves. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Please let me know, I did not really dream that part of my life. And you could make comics with it. Barbie Magic Hairstyler. I already have passed through different dress-up and fashion games at this point, and this one is no different. You can decorate Barbie and her friend's hair however you want. Barbie Fashion Pack Games. A game for Game Boy Color which had a bunch of different fashion games in one big game for the Game Boy Color. As the name suggests, it's a fashion dress-up game. Nothing special. Barbie Nail Designer. Very similar with the Magic Hairstyler, Nail Designer follows you, the player, doing a manicure to Barbie, and you could decorate her nails however you wanted. Barbie Generation Girl Got a Groove. This game released in '99, in which basically you could help Barbie and her generation girlfriends create dazzling dance choreographies and routines on different types of music: hip-hop, salsa, swing, and technopop. The best part, of course, you could decorate their clothes. This is a Barbie game, you monster. Barbie Beauty Styler. Very similar with the already mentioned games regarding dress up and fashion, Beauty Styler brings the Barbie dolls themselves in a game where you could design over 150 clothes for them with hair and everything. Maybe it's a bit more different than the already mentioned games, but whatever, it's still a fashion game after all. Barbie Groovy Games. Groovy Games is a Game Boy Advance game in which you travel through the town with your friends, in which, quote, you travel to groovy location and play the coolest games. Very Y2K if you ask me. Another thing I found about Groovy Games is that at some point it was shipped with the Secret Agent Barbie, also for the Game Boy, kinda similar to how Ubisoft does for the Ezio collection or Rogue collection for Assassin's Creed. Barbie Race and Ride. Race and Ride was a game released on PlayStation in 1999 in which you raced other horses. Apparently there were more horses games that Mattel made. I don't know. In this game you train before you choose to race, and there are 4 areas in the games you could choose from: beach, forest, meadow and mountain. Apparently there is also a secret area, the secret ranch, where if you choose it you could get a fall and win the game. This was, as many say, the spiritual predecessor of the horse adventure games. And I can actually see it because I see some areas that they probably used it in, like Wild Horse Rescue, in Mystery Rides, you know. Barbie Super Sports. Pretty much the same as the Race and Rider. In this one you have to choose from roller skating or snowboarding, followed by, of course, a dress up. This game was also released on Windows at some point. Barbie Sparkling Ice Show. In this game you help Barbie choreograph an ice skating routine as you go along the way, and it's pretty similar to Generation Girl Got a Groove, in which you have to help Barbie and her friends do some routines. Let's not forget you can also dress Barbie because this is a Barbie game! Barbie Horse Adventures Blue Ribbon Race. This is actually the first game in the series of Horse Adventures games, even though almost nobody heard about it. Why, you may ask? Because this game, after all, and first of all, it was released on Game Boy Advance, and secondly, it kinda performed badly. That's why not really much people know about it. The mechanics are bad as well, making it more difficult for the player to play it, and that's why a lot of people consider Mystery Ride as their first game in the series. It's more iconic and kinda everyone knows about it. When they think of Barbie games, Mystery Ride is the first game that comes into their minds. Same with the horse adventure games. Barbie Fashion Designer. One of the first games released by Mattel. Fashion Designer shows Barbie, which you could dress her up however you like. Again, another fashion game. But what people don't know is that you can then after print these outfits and designs, kinda like a paper doll. Layer 7. The Void. We finally made it into the depths of the iceberg, and we are at the end as well, folks. Let's see what it hides. Barbie and Her Magical House. This game was released in 1994. Basically, you could go in a beautiful adventure in freaking Barbie's house, where she shows you how her house works because, well, it's magic. Basically, it was the times where Barbie was only considered a doll, not a character, as well as they treated her like a doll in a dollhouse. Barbie Game Girl. One of the first game Mattel ever released for Barbie. This one is a Game Boy showing Barbie in a platformer of all games. In this, Barbie has to find an outfit for her date with Ken. This game is still considered pretty interesting because it has enemies. Yes, a small Barbie Game Boy Advance has enemies. I don't know why I say Game Boy Advance when it's just Game Boy. I'm sorry. This game features some locations from where you could take your clothes, the mall, underwater, and more locations which you could explore. In the underwater area, for example, there were sharks and jellyfish as enemies. There are also moving blocks of sugar out of all things as enemies. So this game being one of the first games for Barbies and being like this bring an interesting perspective. Barbie. Barbie was the first game ever released ever, like in the line for official games. It was released on Commodore 64 and showed Barbie going around and finding clothes for her date with Ken in a timestamp given by the game. It's not something wow, but being the first ever official game released for the line of Barbies, it actually is. Barbie. Barbie was the second ever game they released, and it was for the NES. This game follows the plot of Barbie, who dreams that she is invited to a ball but has nothing nice to wear. So she goes in 3 different worlds: mall, underwater, and in a soda shop. In every world she meets different animals which help her in her journey. The game is a platformer. It may have been the game that inspired the Game Girl because they are pretty much similar in theme and tone. Barbie Supermodel. Supermodel follows Barbie, who goes through different themed levels to earn clothes and makeup she can wear later. Hollywood, Hawaii, Vail, and New York. Each theme level are traversed in different methods depending in which area you want. Barbie Dreamhouse Party. Dreamhouse Party is a game released 10 years ago. Holy shit, 10 years ago, what? Okay, so Dreamhouse, as I said, is a game that released 10 years ago on all of the time current Nintendo consoles, aka Wii, Wii U, Nintendo DS, and Nintendo 3DS. The gameplay is honestly kinda simple. You have to complete minigames in order to pass, and the minigames vary according to every room they are in the house. Most of them are fashion and dress-up games actually, which to many may be boring, but again, we had a lot of fashion games on this Iceberg. Barbie Magical Fashion. We arrived at the Android and iOS game section of the Iceberg. I'll try to be as fast as I can and go through them because most of them are just there, honestly. So, Magical Fashion is a phone game where you can transform Barbie in a princess, hero, mermaid, unicorn, yeah. Also, there are microtransactions, like, I didn't even thought differently, to be honest. Barbie Dreamtopia Magical Hair. Another Android and iOS game in which you can edit the hair of Chelsea, who is the main character in the TV show Barbie Dreamtopia. Apparently, it's not even on the App Store or Google Play anymore. Barbie Superstar Music Maker. Superstar Music Maker follows you, the player, into a small mini-game of creating music, making sure everyone is in sync, etc. In my opinion, this is similar with the Movie Maker. As I said, franchises have been doing that, taking franchises, putting them into a movie or music maker or whatever, and saying like, you made music in X game with the help of the X franchise, you know, and it's easier for caching grabs. Honestly. Barbie Sparkle Blast. This is apparently a Candy Crush copy, Garden Scope copy, Home Scope copy type of game in which you play a game of Candy Crush to earn clothes. Yeah, as you can imagine, it's full of microtransactions because it's on iOS and Android. Barbie Dreamhouse Adventures is a game in which you can dress up, cook, and have makeovers in Barbie's dream house, but with the help of not so subtle girlfriend of Barbie. It's also apparently based on the 2021 movie, so that's it, or at least the characters from the game. Because in the other game from the Nintendo, the characters and the actions were based in the TV show that ran in 2013 with Barbie's Dream House, and this one it's the 2021 version from what I can gather. Barbie Color Creations. It's basically a game where you color and design with the help of Barbie friends. Basically a coloring book with the Barbie name on it. Nothing really special. And that was it, friends. Phew, it was hard. I made the Iceberg last year after watching different videos regarding Barbie games through the years, which I'll leave down in the comments. And yeah, it was nice to see from the first ever released Barbie games to whatever is happening right now on the App Store plethora, but nonetheless it's important for the history to know. And if you don't know about many of these games, here you can comment, because I didn't know about a bunch of these games either. Like the more obscure console ports like Ride and Race, I never knew about that one, for example, before doing the research for the Iceberg. But if you knew about these games nonetheless, you're a hero, a cool person. If you stayed until the end, have a candy because you rock. Thanks for staying through my talking and blabbering and whatever. I've been wanting to make an Iceberg video for a while. I don't know how many times I said I wanted to do an Iceberg video and never made one because I never found the good theme for it. You know, you have to have some background search, some good ass themes, and I didn't have one until now. I'll also leave a link to the pic of the iceberg so you can look at it more closely if you wish to. But anyway, that was the video. Thanks for watching. If you want to follow my activity outside of YouTube, you can follow me on my social media. The links are down in the description below. And if you like my content, you can do it by subscribing with a bell to receive a notification every time I post. I was Dyna, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!